What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great Friday. We're here live, of course, for Fan Friday, where you, the fan, you sickos out there, get to ask all the questions, throw out all the topics that you desire, and we will do this as we do each and every week to keep you up to date, obviously, with everything going on in this sicko season. So, lots to keep you up to date with and doing my best to do so with all of the coaches, all that stuff. But you know what's coming next week. We're going to be breaking down free agency and already gave you my positions of need in order. And hopefully you check that bad boy out. But I've been keeping you up to date with the cap space, the draft picks, everything that we have here. And obviously, I will recap all of the coaches that we added this week in case you missed any of those shows. But we'll talk about anything on your mind, whatever you guys got here. I've got about 20 minutes, maybe half hour. I can give to you here. Long day. Got back, jumped in the shower, ready to talk some birds with you, though. So hope you're all having a great week. It's bird time, though. So let's effing go. Let me jump over here to the chat, and we've already got people rocking and rolling. My man William in here. Let's go. Appreciate you tuning in, dude. Hope all is well. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's go, Teresa. Go Birds. And you know it's coming, Forte. We've been laughing all week. Every single person we hire or anything, we're trading or signing every all-pro they have ever coached. So be ready for the offseason. I will combat all of the nonsense to the best of my ability. Rob, appreciate you tuning in there from Temple, I assume. But hope you're doing well, my man. Fan Friday here, so let's rock and roll. And yeah, we definitely want good players for sure. Ewing, appreciate you tuning in. Let's go. Robert, my man, let's rock and roll here. So Fan Friday, and been a rough week for me, not going to lie to you. Definitely taking its toll with the new job, everything going on, and been beat street. But been throwing out those videos when I can. Hopefully you've been able to see them. I love being able to come here live, though, on Fridays, be able to catch up with a lot of you, so you know where to find me, when to find me on Fridays. And my man Doyle, let's go. Hope you guys are doing well, though, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of these coaches. I'll run through here quickly, show you, recap who we added this week. So Doug Nussmeier to the offense. So we've got a quarterback coach. Going to be intriguing to see who they keep on offense. We know Stout is going to be staying around, but who else? Is it going to be Patullo, Moorhead? Who else is going to stay on this offensive side of the ball? And a few guys could stay, but on the defense, looks like we may get a complete overhaul. And Christian Parker, very excited about him. We know the work he's done with Patrick Surtain, Justin Simmons over there, and you're going to hear we're trading and signing all of them. And look, the familiarity when players and coaches know each other, that can always help. So not saying it can't happen because you've heard me talk about those names. So look, a lot of possibilities here, but do not get mad how we didn't fail if we don't trade for every single all-pro that these guys have ever coached. And the media is going to try to do that. But Christian Parker, very excited about what he can do here. And obviously, somebody that worked with Vic Fangio and somebody who understands how important it is in the secondary. He'll be doing work with the cornerbacks and presumably the passing game coordinator on defense there. But you've got Joe Kasper here as well to do work with the safeties. So really putting an emphasis on this secondary. And this is somebody, obviously, that was with the Eagles a year before, just being with the Dolphins there, and Vic Fangio. So familiarity with the team and Vic Fangio. So he joins us. Now, Bobby King, we talked about, does not have any, experience there with Vic Fangio, but he did work with Sirianni and the Chargers there when Sirianni was the quarterback coach there. So, look, somebody that, we obviously were talking about Caldwell and Joe Barry, somebody under the radar here, but a lot of the times, people, I don't know who this is. And it's like, well, I mean, how many linebacker coaches can those people really name in the NFL? So, I mean, obviously the top guys, they're probably on a team already. So it is what it is. Barry, I think he went to the Dolphins, and Caldwell, I think the Raiders. So, hey, it is what it is. But Bobby King, excited to see what he can do. We talked about him working with Zach Cunningham. Obviously, Azeez Al-Shaair, somebody we talked about last year, actually, before the trade deadline. And, now, again, every coach we hire, you're going to hear about every single all-pro we've ever had, they've ever coached, Kasper with Deshaun Elliott and Javon Hollins coming, all that great stuff. But these are the coaches we have so far that Sirianni has brought on to help him turn this ship around. So Kellen Moore on offense, Vic Fangio on defense, and Clint Hurt was last week as well. But a lot more names added this week, starting to fill things out. And I will do a show just like I've done in previous years when we get all these new coaches, where we'll break down the new staff. We'll look at the offense, who Kellen Moore has as all of his assistants, and then we'll look at Vic Fangio, who he has, and still a few more positions to fill out there. So very excited myself so far. We talked about how this team needed to bring in veteran guys with experience, and especially on defense, I need, a veteran defensive head coach. That's what Vic Fangio is. I got my guy excited. He's adding guys that are familiar with his system. Obviously, we talked about Bobby King, but you know how I feel about this. Hopefully you caught that defensive show I put out, I believe, this past Sunday. So that broke down, how we run odd fronts, even fronts. We've been doing it. This will be year 4. A lot of the media getting fans twisted again this year. We're switching defense. Oh, my God. No, that's why we literally have players that fit the odd fronts, because that's what we've been doing. But that breaks down all of the schemes, structures, and sends you in the direction. If you're a real sicko, you want to learn a lot about that stuff, where to go to really get in depth with it. But showed you a lot of those graphics, the depth charts, things you like to see to understand what this defense is going to look like, and just give you an idea. We talk about 3-4, more of a 5-2 really, with the stand-up edge rushers there, those outside linebackers, and I refer to them as the edge rushers because people get confused that they are off-ball linebackers, those inside guys, and not so much. Very different. Check out that show. We talked about that a lot. Talked about going to play a lot of 4-2 as well when Avonte Maddox, or whoever is the nickel there. But lots to get excited about here. And, I showed you that defensive depth chart where, a lot of the talk about how the Eagles got to change. Oh, there's the offense, but here's the defense. Sorry. But the 5-man fronts, having edge rushers, the ER there, rather than calling them, outside linebackers, defensive ends, getting people confused. And we talk about the role of these edge rushers, playing that Sam or the Will linebacker, just so much that goes into it, playing defensive end. And you got to be versatile. And that's why we've been adding these guys. But you can see everyone in green, free agent here. Anyone that is in gray is a reserve future signing. Obviously, anybody in white is under contract here. So you can see, go check out those shows. You saw me flash that offense there for a second, but you can see here some important pieces. We'll see if Kelsey returns, please, for the love of God. DeAndre Swift there. But look, a lot of things to go over this offseason. You see the special teams, Braden Mann. That's about what we need. But we got Rodgers as a return man. So lots of excitement, a lot of things we talked about this week. Hopefully you were able to catch up with that stuff. But, don't let anybody throw these negative narratives out here when the season literally hasn't begun. Like the Super Bowl is in a couple days. So then, it really is the end of the season. And, I hear, we don't have this, we don't have that. Oh, the Eagles don't have this. And it's like, hey, man, I don't know if you've ever heard of free agency or the draft, but we will be partaking in both of those, and they're coming up, baby. So stay patient. And it's always this hilarious period where the season's over, everybody sucks, and fire everyone. It's like, all right, dude, like, holy shit. Like, the last season's over, man. We know what we got to do. That's why we're bringing in these great coaches. Offense, not so much experience, but a very young, bright mind in Kellen Moore. And however you feel, like, it's a balanced offense. A lot of things that we asked for, under center play action, the motion stuff, and, just being different, man, from week to week, being able to adjust. And I mean, just not running the same effing shotgun RPO, go route, just screen pass. Just driving me insane. But I'm excited about it. So let me know how you guys are feeling. What is on your mind? What kind of questions you got here? Yo, Lil, appreciate you tuning in. And yo, Rob, I really appreciate that, man. Appreciate you taking the time. Hope you're doing well. And always happy to see all of you sickos. Tiffany, appreciate you tuning in. And I don't know how much I'm feeling better. I'm trying. I was ready to talk some birds. I knew that. I got a shower, got freshened up. I was like, all right, let's go. Like, trying to dig deep down here, but that's what I like to hear, you sickos, and that's what it's all about. That's where I find that energy from, just being a true effing sicko and knowing you guys are relying on me to come here with that energy. Let's effing go. But how will you know is usually just like last year, got a lot of veterans, great draft again. And, look, you can never predict when all these guys are going to get hurt. And unfortunately, last year we got our asses kicked with that stuff. So we got to get, younger. And that's what this time period is for. We've got 8 picks, but we got 8 picks the next year, too. We got 2 second-round picks this year, like 4 fifth-rounders. And look, I think that you're going to have to just stay patient with watching Howie, right? People lose their minds, but oh yeah, they always complain. I love it. But that's why I am the counteraction to that stuff. Let them complain. They'll eventually be fans of the Eagles and they'll be repeating everything I say. It's just annoying at this process. But here's why you get excited. Here's the draft picks I'm talking about, the 8 this year, those 2 second-rounders, those 4 fifth-rounders. Howie's going to be working his magic. You have 8 next year, and then you'll have 7 in 2026, and you'll be able to play with those once the offseason truly begins. So, that's 23 picks in the next 3 years. Howie will be working his magic. I'm all about it. And, we talk about, there's free agents, but DeAndre Swift, one of the most important, obviously some depth pieces on the offensive line, wide receiver. We talked about the punter, defensive guys, Sean Bradley, the special teamer, but look, it's time to get younger. Guys like Jack Stoll wouldn't mind, but you got to upgrade tight end too. You got to get some fresh offensive linemen. I think that the Eagles are very well aware of this. And look, they've already begun. And it's so funny, these reserve future contracts, we signed a couple of weeks ago. People complain about this guy sucks. I hate this guy. I'm out. It's like, dude, it's a reserve future contract. These guys are really hoping to make the practice squad. Hey, you never know. Maybe they come out of nowhere and make the roster. I'm just saying, this is not your free agents. This is not your draft picks. These are not the guys you're relying to change your team. They're guys that were on the practice squad last year of our team or someone else's. They're not, that's what these reserve future deals are. So we're getting started, though. And I'm telling you, wait till the off season actually begins. I've told you, I finally seeing people taking this content, and they need to, because they need to understand each year when they talk about the Eagles not having cap space, we've got about 20 mil right now. I try to show people how you create more right here. And this show right here, it was talking about you don't have to cut or trade anyone. Now you can with some of these. Go check that show out. It explains all of the money for these guys if you do trade them, because the money's different. But look at this right here. Potential of $37 million by just restructuring or extending a few of these players. So 10 names right here that you can restructure or extend. So what are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4 extensions, 6 restructures, and dog, you could save up to 37. So you could almost have 60 million in cap space here. And obviously you need money for the draft picks. You need the, leftover just for the season. So, I mean, really, you're still going to be dancing with around 40, 45 mil if you were to do this. So again, you don't have to do all of these things. You could do different things by trading someone, cutting someone, saving more or less. So again, go check out that show with more of that information, but just be patient here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to keep you prepared for what is coming your way with Howie and all of the things. And I'll give my best with the predictions of who I think we should sign, who I think we should try to trade for, who I think we should draft, all of that stuff. And I love Sicko season. I mean, I don't ever want the season to end. I hate it. I hate that we've had to talk about stuff, these last couple of weeks. I wish we were talking about playing football, but it is what it is. And I'm going to do my best throughout this off season to keep you up to date with everything I possibly can. And lots of information. And this is just the stuff that I have always found, useful to me. So, hey, if you guys, if there's anything else you want, anything you're looking for, let me know. I try to be a place of facts and truth, similar where you can come and be like, okay, when I watch a show, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to get knowledgeable information that I needed to know, rather than just, throwing shit at the fan. Now, in the off season, I will laugh at some of these things that people put out there. Are we trading for every single All-Pro? Or, in Forte, you made the joke at the beginning there. Obviously, it's hilarious to me every off season, but I'm going to do my best to counteract all that stuff. So it is what it is. And yeah, I wish Penny would have been better. That would have been great to see him be better than running back 4, but unfortunately, he just wasn't. Still a lot of work to do. Yeah, man. Free agency, the draft, the season actually hasn't ended from last year. Super Bowl actually coming up in a couple days. So when this all season begins, I am ready. And I've had you all ready. We've begun our Sicko season here. So you've got enough information to make you the smartest guy on the block. Anywhere you go walk and talk about the birds, you should be able to, no. Let me, and I many of people already, Eagles suck. Okay, well, let's talk about why. Okay, yeah, we lost. Where's your team at? Oh, you're not in the Super Bowl either? Only 2 teams right now are talking about it. So don't want to hear it. And I explain why I still feel very confident about this team. So It is what it is. Go Birds, LG. Appreciate you tuning. And look, Swift and Kelsey, not that Swift and Kelsey, but yeah, I'm with you. We need Swift and Kelsey. I think that DeAndre Swift, hopefully he wants to come back. That'll be his choice. We'll see what he does. But Kelsey, he's still up in the air, but it sounds like he could. Please, for the love of God, come back. One last ride, baby. Let's go get that Super Bowl for him. Please, for the love of God. But I'm with you on that. And yes, indeed, man. And that's why it's always funny. Like, it happens every year. And I try to help people understand these things. And nobody wants to hear about how the roster works. Every year I have to hear about the defense is changing. I break this down. And not only like in the all season, every single week you have a depth chart. You should know that the Eagles run odd fronts. There's no effing reason. No way. If you watch my show that you shouldn't know everything about this stuff, because I give more information. Look at how smart I make other content creators, the media. I finally forced their hand, just started posting under all their stuff. Nope, not how that works. Nope. Until finally people, and oh, you're a dick. And it's like, no, I just kind of get sick and tired of people always whining because they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Got to understand the cap. Got to understand how things work if you're going to whine about it just constantly, man. And Austin Watson, yeah, he's a tall guy. We'll see. He could make this practice squad. We'll find out here this offseason for sure. Eagles got slippery Super Bowl field now. So yeah, we'll see, man. Yeah, they'll be making as many excuses, the alarms, the fields, whatever they can do. They are a whiny bunch. But yes, you're going to hear every, all pro that is out there. You know what I mean? They're going to talk about that every time. And I made that joke and I've seen it everywhere now. But, I make it every year because the problem is, and I have no problem people getting excited, talking about, asking me, and I show you. And don't worry, I'll have all those shows showing you these guys we could trade for. And each year I do it where, hey, these guys have, worked under this guy. This is this coach we just added. I do that every year. And I try to explain that, that could have a play. Now, all of a sudden it's, oh, we're trading for everybody that ever, was coached by these guys. And what you have to understand is what these other people's cap is, what this other stuff, going into this stuff, how much all that stuff matters. And, we talked about Surtain last year. If you want to be giving up, a lot for somebody that's really good and then have to pay him, or do you want to just try to draft somebody young? You've got some vet guys here. I think you could move on from some of them. So you're going to hear, all kinds of hilarious stuff. But to me, there's probability that we add studs regardless. We have Howie Roseman, and I will talk about each year where we need to emphasize that. And just the other day, I did the positions of need and, where I have these guys ranked at, where I find linebacker, safeties, how much importance we have to put there. So I think for me, a lot of our capital's going to go into positions where, the media is telling people the Eagles aren't allowed to add linebackers, safeties. We are, and we will. And they're going to have to just, bite their tongue when it happens because, oh, no, it never happened. Yeah, sure. Howie Roseman is the best GM in the NFL, and I really don't care what anyone. I've heard it all, this, oh, he sucks. We've had horrible past couple years. Like, what? Am I watching something completely different? Him just smoking people with these drafts and the trades and the people he's adding in free agency, the restructures, etc. Like, the guy is really smart. And I try to show that stuff, and people are finally starting to learn it a little bit, but it's like, all right, I've been trying to show for years, and they can ignore me all they want, but I'm just happy they're finally listening. But look, man, Howie Roseman's always going to be wheeling and dealing. And, we talked about Justin Simmons last year. We talked about Patrick Surtain. Now we have Vic Fangio. Now you've got Christian Parker, guys that have, they've obviously coached them. So always a possibility, especially if they get in Howie's ear and, hey, they're miserable there. Let's get them out of there if we trade this and this. But again, with some of these guys, you got to trade draft capital and pay them. So is that the choice you're going to do? And Patrick Surtain, that's, you're going to pay a lot to get someone like that. But get Surtain, yeah, man. And look, he's definitely really good, but we'll see. I think that's one of those things where you're going to go into this, see in the draft what is available, where you're drafting, all that stuff. And don't worry, we'll break that all down. And you guys know I have that show, and I already talked about it. Next week, that's coming out. So if you missed that this week, I've been talking about it all week. You're going to get every position. We'll go through, look at what the Eagles have at that position. And it's a free agency show, but I talk about, where we should be focused. And then after that, after we go through like that chunk, and I try to give you like trade candidates in there too. And then there's like a trade show where, the top trade candidates. So do not fear. I give you more content than your hearts could desire. And then once that little wave happens and we talk about what happens in free agency, then the draft stuff comes. And look, I'm always here. We talk about draft stuff, but I'm talking about the sicko breakdowns where we're going through, just like I talked about with free agency, where you have so much going on at each position. I will do that with the draft too. So what do we have at cornerback after free agency? Did we sign this guy? What do we have at running back? Did we get this running back? Where do we need to look in the draft? Do we need to get the day one guy? Do we need to look day three? Do we need to look undrafted for a quarterback? Whatever it may be, I will do that for every single position, not only throughout free agency, but the draft as well. And I will do it multiple times where, like kind of a recap a couple weeks later once things have happened. And, with the draft, we get real wild with it. And I think I'm going to try to do another, live stream this year. And, we're going to make it work no matter what. So hope you'll be there for that. Last year was awesome. Appreciated that. And cornerback, one of the least, I think, needy positions for us. Obviously, with getting Isaiah Rodgers here, I think a lot of people forget that he is really good. And he can play outside, inside, help us as a returner. Very excited about him. And, Kaylee Ringo, his development, hopeful for him. Eli Ricks, continue growth there. But you've got a lot of guys there that we already talked about. When it comes to Bradbury, I think you could definitely try to move on. But Vontae Maddox, very intriguing because you've got Zach McPherson coming back. So McPherson and Maddox battling it out with, maybe Rodgers there. And then you've got, as I mentioned, Ringo. I think they really like him. Yeah, I think, this is a year where you could look in the draft. For me, I talked about this already, where I would look to add somebody more starter capable, not hoping for the development of. But it really just depends on who's available. Like you can't say like, oh, you got to get this, because you have no idea who's going to draft them. And that's why I do that series the way I do. And, that's how I've been able to predict who the Eagles get 5 years in a row now, because it's not so simple as just saying like, oh, this guy's going here. You got to really look at it as a whole. And that's really difficult to do. I'll do my best to go year 6 in a row here, but it's going to be nuts, with that first pick at 22. It's going to be nuts with the 2 second picks. Should we try to trade? Should we trade up in the top 10? Is there somebody that, important to what we need, or just they're that good? You got to have them. There's a lot that we're going to talk about, and I try not to get ahead of myself because I know a lot of people are watching this to, get their content. So Howie Roseman, the wizard, indeed, a little wizard stick out there. But look, this dude, he continues smoking the other GMs. People continue saying to fire him, and I continue laughing in their faces because what? But yeah, going to be a wild sicko season. I hope you're all ready for it. And good possibility, you just traded for him. I would like to have a veteran piece here. So I think, you keep Byard, and you have Sidney Brown, and you have Reed Blankenship. So Sidney's banged up, probably won't be ready at the beginning of the season, which sucks. But we talked about the emphasis there. That's one of the top positions on that show. So you still got to go draft somebody, maybe even add someone in free agency as that veteran, but got to improve that room regardless of how I feel. And, I talked about restructuring Kevin Byard. You saw his name on that list I just showed you, but you could trade him. You could try to cut him. You could do a lot of things to save cap if you wanted, but I think you still need that veteran guy. And I think, having a veteran savvy player like him in a system where people know what the hell is going on is going to be much better than a system where people are just running around like chickens with their head cut off because there's no communication. Nobody knows what's going on. I think it was just stupid to demote Sean Desai. And I made it very clear I thought that was going to be a problem, and it became a very big problem. Matt Patricia sucked. And, I just think Vic Fangio is really going to be able to do a lot better things with the players we have. And, everybody, get rid of Jordan Davis, Son Reddick, they all suck. Josh Sweat sucks. And it's like, no, I don't think so. I just think they need to be used correctly. And I thought it was really stupid that we have built something that you're going to use multiple schemes, the odd and even front, something I break down every year. And we really, really lacked doing that last year. Just a lot of dumb shit, I thought. And, we talk about this vanilla theory here of this defense where you're showing a lot of the same looks with different structures and ass loads of different schemes and so many different things within those schemes. And I mean, go check that show out. And I try to simplify it there. And I send you to places where you can, if you're a true sicko and you want to get your mind lost, I send you in that direction. But There's a lot of great stuff about this defense that when run correctly and when players are executing, this is why the Kyle Shanahans, the, McVays of the world hate this defense. And, we had people trying to do it. We have the guy that does it. So I'm excited. And I think a lot of these players will do better. And, Bradbury, that's one of those people that I think, he could do better in this system, but he really showed that he lost a step. So regardless of if he could do better, I don't know how much better to a point where, it'll cost dead money. The media was trying to say it's going to cost us like 17 million. That's incorrect. I might even still have, that money. Let me look at it if I can find it. But I was showing you, it just doesn't make sense. Some of these things they make up because you have to understand the money. And I think this is him here. Yeah. So, I mean, you're looking at what you could do. Now, nobody's going to trade for him. I'm going to be real with you. But if you did, then you would only be really losing $2 million. Now, if you cut him, with that post June 1st designation, we talked about this, only $4 million there, a little over $4 million in dead money. So, yeah, it costs you a little bit, but I think cutting bait with him and, being able to have younger guys at those positions, and I'll bring up this depth chart again real quick just to show you. But, I've got Slay, Rogers, and then Maddox as the starters. And, Ringo, Bradbury, McPherson. Talked about Ringo and McPherson, excited to see what they can do. But I wouldn't be against Slay, Rogers, and Maddox. Hopefully Maddox stay healthy. But McPherson, hopefully he could stay healthy as well. Job, a great special teamer. Not sure. Hopefully he could develop. Alabama kid. Maybe he can continue to get better as well as Eli Ricks there. And then you're looking at, Roby is a free agent. Doubt he comes back. But you've got Garner, Mullen, and Goodrich back as reserve future deals. So a lot of corners here to compete. This offseason, 11 guys already. And the 12th guy, Roby, being a free agent. I don't think he comes back again. But I still think you add to this room. I just don't think I agree with the media that, it's dire need. Yeah, if there's somebody available in this draft, one of these stud kids, and you want to grab them, hell yeah. But I don't know that it's, necessary right now. There's a lot of other positions I talked about on that show that I find, a little bit more important. Now, I'm not sure if I have my list here still of the positions. I don't think I do. Nope, I don't. But you can go check that show out. And I've got my 11 positions all ranked where I think the Eagles need to focus there. But lots of content for you guys to check out this week. Hopefully you guys have been able to keep up with all of it. If you watch them later, I always love to hear your thoughts on them. Always down to talk for some birds. Yeah, I still feel pretty strongly about that second tight end. And I still want us to add one, as I just mentioned earlier in this show as well. So, yeah, I definitely still feel that way. We do get Byard go, I think, because all new coaching staff. Jeremy Chin. Well, Jeremy Chin wouldn't be able to play that safety spot we need back there like we need it to be. And I think Byard still fits what you're trying to do. I think you traded for him, so you just restructure and you could save money. Now, if they want to get rid of him, they get some stud in the draft. I talked about that during that show with the cap space. And there are playlists there on my YouTube that you can see, SICKO season. You can see the money, all that stuff. You'll find it. But, they're, our free agents, and obviously Jeremy Chin, I talked about him a lot. That's one of those weapons you use on this defense that can be your third safety, that dime backer. And again, go check out that show. Let me show you what I'm talking about. But Red Eagle, I'm with you. I'm not against Jeremy Chin, but he wouldn't be the one replacing Byard. You would need an actual guy that can play safety. And there's a reason that Carolina, uses him all over the field because, yeah, jack of all trades, but just not so much of that safety there. So, let me see if I can find her here. Yeah, I can barely see this stuff, but okay, that's dime. We are looking for. Well, I know I had. Wait. So there's the big dime, and you could have Sidney Brown while he's out. You could have Jeremy Chin in there. Hell, you could have them all on there at the same time if you wanted. But Sidney Brown has shown he can play that. Big nickel. I don't want him just being the nickel corner. And we talked about, unfortunately, because of injury that happened. But, in the big nickel, you've got, you're just replacing that nickel corner with a third safety. And I was excited for Sidney Brown to be able to do that last year. Obviously, Maddox gets hurt, so he's forced to just play the nickel. And, it sucked, but hopefully he learned from it. And I'm very excited about his future. We talked about him being banged up, so that sucks. But look, man, we're going to get on the right track here. We know, and we've got free agency and the draft coming up, so don't fear, man. This team will look a lot different, and I really look forward to watching Howie Roseman cook this offseason. But ladies and gentlemen, I got to get rolling out here. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you got anything from it, do me a favor, hit that like button. You can always subscribe down below. We're always talking birds. Going to talk about some stuff this weekend. And then next week, I told you, the free agency series will begin. We'll be breaking down every position, talking about where the Eagles need to be looking, who is available, and there's a lot of guys. Get excited, man. I love these shows. They're so fun. I give you the list of all the guys that are free agents, and then I show you like my top 5, top 10, depending on what position. If it's like wide receiver, I'm going to give you a top 10 because there's just going to be an assload of people, Quarterback, I'll give you a top 5. Look, we're looking at the bottom barrel guys. We're not looking for a top tier. I'll do that for each position. So, I am very excited about it. Hope you are getting excited about it. I'm ready to rock and roll. But look, hope you had a great week. Hope you're ready for the weekend here, and hope you're ready for next week because got a lot to break down this offseason. Going to be wild as hell. So have yourselves a great Friday. Oh, let's go. And hey, I keep it real. And China, tell me you've been hiding in here this whole damn time without saying a word. You son of a... I appreciate you tuning in, though. And look, I even said maybe a half hour because I know you guys like to take me all the way to the limit. But got to get rolling out here. Got a lot of stuff to do. And look, I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you want to continue talking birds, whether you're watching right now, watching this later, all you got to do is comment when this show is over, and I will happily continue talking birds with you. So you have a great night. Thank you, my man, Forte. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope to see you throughout this weekend while we're talking some birds. Got some things planned out for you, a little recap of some things, what you need to know before we get into this free agency series. So, yeah, well, it'll kind of be like a recap live, though, because that other video wasn't. So, yeah, you'll see. But hope to see you then. Until then, I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me, you sickos. Go Birds!